the future of work, the future AI, the chatbot that's going to tell your wife that you were at the bar instead of the office, right? Everyone's so fucking concerned. It's like, no. Like, you sound like a stagecoach driver as the first automobile rolled down the street.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you guys aren't like, I missed the clippity clop of horses.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. It's like, it's not going to be the same when you never have to do if you're a lawyer and you never have to do doc review because a fucking robot can do it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you can, be a lawyer.
And that's one of the things that it's going to be particularly good at is that kind of stuff of summarizing information, taking long string of things and condensing it into what are the salient points. It's not going to be good at a lot of things, but it's going to be good at something like that.
Yeah.
Really
rote, error checking.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, the stuff that you don't want to do anyway.
Totally.
My argument in the book that I'm writing, which I can't tell you the publisher, but it's a big one. So I'm writing a book and I'm saying the future is a place where you have to do a lot less of the shit that you don't want to do anyway.
Yeah.
So if you can leverage and harness the power of AI and machine learning, which by the way, you don't need to be, like my man over here, like you don't need to be the guy that builds the tools. There's going to be so many consumer tools put into your fingertips where you're like, I don't even know how this works, but it works.
Yeah. That's the story of technology generally, right?
It's beautiful. And it's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And yes, folks there's going to be outsized wealth created for some folks who create the tools. But guess what? You're getting richer too because you're spending less time on bullshit and you're spending more time on higher value creative tasks, no matter what your job is.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful future. That's a future of human liberation. It's not a future of Terminator style, lock and load, a robot's knocking on my door to try to fucking kill me. Yeah, I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah.
And by the way, if that comes true, it doesn't really matter what I believe. We're screwed anyway.
Robots got you, yeah. Well, it's all in like the pace of change too. I mean, if it happens overnight and
it's kind of happening. This is as close to overnight as you can get. Well, and it's breakneck.
Yeah.
But we're still like, oh, all right.
Well, even with every kind of AI phase too, that there's a bit of overhype. People thought that we're going to have, self-driving cars, years ago, and we're
God
still
damn it, Elon.
Far away from that. Yeah. We're not that close to that, I would argue. And, even for AGI, we're probably, 50 years away from that too. So
50?
I would think so. Yeah. But still, like, it's very good at some particular tasks. I think the rate of change matters a decent amount. And I don't think it's going to be as, everyone's going to be out of a job overnight kind of thing.
Right.
Everyone thinks, but you still have to plan for that.
Right. Here's the thing, though, and I've talked about this before. It's like really, really high-paid rich people lose jobs all the time to technology. It's not like, there's this sort of like dialogue that like tech affects poor people in this disparate way than it affects rich people. It's like, so my example that I just spoke about are the traders on the floor of the commodities exchange in New York City and World Trade Center. These dudes were making millions of dollars in open outcry trading, literally, yours, mine. You've seen the videos, the screaming guys. I used to work for the screaming guys. I used to be a screaming guy for a hot second as a little kid.
Really?
Oh yeah. My background's in trading and we'll get there in a second, or we don't have to. Those guys were driving trucks after that. And truck driving is a good ass job, by the way. Yeah. Shout out to the truck drivers because it's still a fucking good job. But those guys couldn't, what I'm trying to say is those guys couldn't command millions of dollars from the market anywhere else anymore. Yeah. When open outcry, spoiler alert guys, open outcry trading is on a fucking computer board now. It's not, dudes buying and selling and sweating and wearing gold Rolexes in a circle, as much as I miss it.
Is that why you left? You saw the writing on the wall? And
I've seen the writing on the wall multiple times in my career. I left Wall Street, the big leave, the leave that I guess why I'm sitting here, talking to you and talking to cool guys like about business on a podcast is because I was in a high tech area of a low tech business, fixed income, US Treasuries. I was developing technology to trade multiple things at the same time really fast. And even that, I was like, I'm not going to have a job at some point. That's not why I left, but that was certainly in the top 5.
Yeah, well, you want to know that there's an exciting future for what you're working on kind of thing. And if you don't see it, that probably drains a lot of it out of you.
Yeah, but you can't be Mr. Rosy about your career, you can't be Mr. Rosy about something that is changing so rapidly. You have to be a realist. Again, you don't want to be the last trader in the pit. You don't want to be the last. You could be the last trader in the pit as long as, you high five everyone and you go, hey guys, I learned how to do this, on screens, computers. I learned how to do this on screens. I'll see you guys upstairs. And you hug and life goes on the computer. You don't want to be the guy that says, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah, for sure.
And don't you have a very human sense in your body when you're in that moment? And have you ever had that moment in your career of doing something where you're like, I don't think this is going to be around for much longer?
Not that it was going to be around. I just knew that I was in management consulting for a little while and I didn't care for that. So.
That's the most polite way of saying it.
Yeah.
I don't care for this job.
Yeah. Well, the partner I was working with ended up stealing some money from the firm.
Oh,
it was a whole mess. And I got kind of caught up in the middle of it.
Well, that's the only way. I can't say it. Yeah. That's the only way you can make money in consulting anymore.
Stealing?
Stealing. No. I'm just fucking around. But that's a job where, dude, you're too smart to do that long term. I mean, you want a bigger challenge is what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, it's not fun, at least for me, it's not fun to go, you put together a strategy, here's what you should do, and then you don't actually get to go build anything.
Right.
Do anything. It's very unsatisfying.
And you're like, here's the bill for me telling you this shit, which I don't even know if it was going to work out because I might not even be here when you pull it off.
And, there's this executive rotation where people leave every 2 years and then they come back and when they switch jobs, they hire another consulting firm to come put together the same deck that another person put together 2 years ago. Rubber stamp some strategy and they leave. And then
And ChatGPT wrote the whole thing anyway.
Now you don't even need to do that. Feed it all the old PowerPoint decks and you get the same thing.
Done.
Yeah.
I heard something horrific. You do not have to confirm or deny this. I heard something horrific that the big consulting firms are outsourcing to just extremely high quality Indian consulting firms and doubling and tripling the price. So if the deck's $100,000 from India, they're selling it for $300,000.
I believe that. So when I was in it briefly, what we would do is I would write out the deck on a piece of paper, send it off to a team in India, and they would make it pretty. Thing. But you would write the story yourself and here's what I want to see on each one of the charts. But I wouldn't go through I want to align this pixel over here. All that
Fair enough.
They might have moved the full operation over there now.
That's what I'm saying. You basically have Indian PhDs and doctorates that are sitting down. They're actually, I was going to say they're just as smart as you. No. They're smarter than you. Okay, let's be serious for a second. And if I was there, they'd be way smarter than me. And they're the ones that are doing the deck for you. But God, that's middlemanning to the fucking, it's just apex.
Combine outsourcing with management consulting.
What a sweet ride while you can get it.
The end of it, yeah.
The end of it.